NTA International News.
The incoming administration challenged to make right to education a reality to all Nigerian children. Nigeria's solid minerals exploration receives a boost with first real bidding of the nation's mining assets. Lead poisoning. Stakeholders advocate aggressive enlightenment on hazards of unprofessional exploration as victims receive medical attention. You're welcome to the news tonight on NTA International. I am Chinedu Obike. Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo has pledged commitment towards making contributions to nation building as he bids farewell to staff in his office. State House correspondent Hamza Musa Makarpi reports that the Vice President, with his wife Hajia Amina Namadi Sambo, tasked the staff to offer their best to the incoming administration. The Vice President said he enjoyed every moment of work with President Jonathan as he worked tirelessly to transform Nigeria. Details in our subsequent bulletin. The Civil Society Coalition on Education for All has challenged the incoming government to make the right to education a reality for all Nigerian children. Frank Auzomolo reports that this was at the annual celebration of the Global Action Week campaign on education.
The Global Action Week is an annual event marked by education campaigners as a wake-up call to the governments to take responsibility for the unfulfilled promises on education. As the world agrees on new frameworks for education and sustainable development this year, the civil society organizations have placed policy demands on the incoming government in Nigeria to eradicate gaps in access based on poverty, gender, and disability.
If you get education right, agriculture will be right, health system strengthening will be right, every other aspect will be right.
Let's look at as a country and also looking at the incoming administration. What are the lapses? What is it that we couldn't achieve in the MDG goal and our IFR goals? We need to make sure that we put up strategies that will ensure that every child have access to quality education.
The organizations are also worried that the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria has increased due to insurgent attacks in the northeast.
The objective for education under the sustainable development goal is very clear: relevant education to all. And that sits squarely within the context of the APC manifesto, which recognizes improving access.
This year's Global Action Week is Vote for Education. In Abuja, Franca Uzoma Olua, NTA News.
Nigerian women, under the auspices of Women in Politics Forum, is reminded the incoming APC administration of its promises during the 2015 elections with regards to gender equity. The group made the reminder at a media briefing in Abuja. Correspondent Aisha Tuzangu Abdullahi has the details.
President and founder Women in Politics Forum, Ebere Efendu, while addressing the media, says their pronouncement is provoked by the recent appointments of the incoming administration, where it failed in its commitments to Nigerian women in terms of equitable representation on its inauguration and transition committees.
The women are viewing this action as indicative of the new government's posture on selection and appointment.
Madam Ebere, however, went down memory lane to remind the president-elect of his promises to Nigerian women on March 19, 2015, in a keynote address at a town hall meeting with professional women in Lagos.
We're asking the president, the APC government, to support their commitment to us, come out fully to say, look, we made this commitment during our campaigns, and this is the time to live up to it. And I'm sure if we have women head the parliament, we are going to have serious development coming into the country.
We are also thinking that, look, those who are competent from among those who are coming and who are ranking members, for instance, competent as well. So such people should be given a nod to be at the leadership of the National Assembly. And that is where Honorable Khadijat Abba Ibrahim stands out.
The group also drew the attention of the incoming government to the statistics published by the Parliamentary Union as at April 2015, where Nigeria was ranked 132nd out of 190 countries that submitted data on percentage of women in parliament. In Abuja, Aishatu Zango Abdullahi, NTA News.
Away from politics, the newly recruited procurement officers in the Federal Civil Service have been told to acquaint themselves with the public procurement principles for them to be the desired change agents in the society. This was a trust of papers presented at an induction training program for the officers in Abuja. Kemi Fake reports.
The 130 newly recruited officers were brought together to train them on the principles of public procurement in Nigeria, as enshrined in the Public Procurement Act 2007. The Act emphasized that public procurement, as a tool for good governance, must always follow due process to provide level playing ground and achieve best value for money.
The due process there must be that need. Not only do you have the need, you must plan it. When you plan, you must have your source of fund. That's what they call budget appropriation, or your IGR, any name you call, where the money is coming from. Then, because you're interested in having somebody from outside to help you, which you call contractor, service provider, consultant, you must develop document you want to give them, which we call development of solicitation document. Then, it must be open. How do we make it open? You have to advertise it.
The Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurement, Emeka Eze, emphasized the need for the officers to imbibe good skills in order not to run foul of the infractions in the public procurement practice.
The future is bright for Nigeria as we try to strengthen the public procurement system in the country, because it's a system that is intended to stop abuse rather than pursuing people when the crime has been committed. If you give them rules and guidelines, then there will be need for you to be pursuing people.
It is not only giving the participants the basics of civil service rules, the basics of financial regulations, the basics of understanding the Procurement Act, the basic of office practices and the rest. It is also telling them, look, if you are in your job, you may end up being in Kuje prison or any other prison.
The 5-day induction program will be rounded off with a tour of Kuje prison in Abuja. Kemi Fakeye, NTA News.
Moving on, solid minerals exploration in Nigeria received a boost with the first real bidding of the nation's mining assets. This took center stage at the public bid opening for the concession of Briningwari mining area located in Kano, northwest Nigeria. Correspondent Moplang Dakok has the report.
Solid mineral resources in Nigeria over the years have been underexploited and explored for the socio-economic development of the country and to augment revenue generation from petroleum. It is to this end that the bid for the concession of the Ririwai underground mining complex in Kano took place in Abuja 2 years after the federal government made a move for the bid.
This process cannot be abused because the investor is bringing in money immediately. And if he brings in money immediately, he will make sure that he quickly starts exploitation to get back his money. And therefore there will be development. In fact, this process is the most common process in all countries in the world at the moment.
We are going to provide a lot of employment for Nigerians as a preferred bidder to that mines. And apart from employment, there are other opportunities that also will come up. Also giving opportunities to people to supply us with raw materials as well.
Stakeholders from the nation's mineral sector called on the government to ensure equitable distribution of proceeds from mining activities and protect the environment from degradation. The preferred bidder, an Indian company, will likely commence mining activities soon after winning the bid for $5 million. Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
In a related development, 8 children with active symptoms of lead poisoning and 4 of their parents from 2 settlements in Rafi local government area of Niger State have been evacuated to Anka, Zamfara State for treatment. Dauda Muhammad, just back from the area, reports that crushing and grinding of rocks in the area and its adjoining communities is no longer business as usual.
3-year-old Jamila Ibrahim has the most severe symptoms of lead poisoning among the 8 children being transported to Anka, Zamfara State. Her father, Ibrahim Galadima, a farmer with 4 wives, said he lost 6 of his children in the last 6 months, while 4 of the children being transported are his. Dauda Suleiman, another farmer, lost an 8-month-old baby and has 2 children among those being evacuated over the illness the community first thought was caused by spirits, until most of the livestock, including chickens and dogs, all died in the 2 communities. Based on the line list from the health workers who visited the communities, 65 persons were affected, with 28 dead, mostly children from 0 to 10 years old. Village head of Shekara, Nuhu Megero, who decried the wrong reports being aired over the incident, said the problem started around the month of September last year, but it was only recently that the cause was identified. The 2 communities, which are mostly farmers and hunters, abandoned their age-old professions when they witnessed an influx of people who came to mine in their communities. There are several mining shafts at the double mining site where artisans go beneath the surface, oblivious to the dangerous hazards they might face under there, to get rocks before being taken for crushing where gold is being extracted. After the rocks are brought in from the mines, they are crushed and grinded before washing to separate the gold from other metals. The process which has caused the poisoning in the communities because of the high content of lead in the rocks. Crushing and grinding has been stopped, a situation that Ibrahim Nu, a youth in the area, says has increased the rate of crime in the 2 communities.
Choice is very clear. It's either we stop it or we allow our younger ones to die. And by the time we allow our younger ones to die, it means there is going to be generational gap, and that is going to be serious for our society. So the youth have to make sacrifice and look another way around. Let us see what happens in the next 3 or 4 months. The council will try to empower them with farm implements so that they can be able to forget about this mining and go back to farm. And I'm sure by the time they go back to farm, it will be very useful for us in society.
Other communities where grinding and washing are taking place are Pondogari, also in Rafi local government area of Niger State, and Bindingwari in Kaduna State, though no case of lead poisoning has been reported. In Kagara, Rafi local government area of Niger State, Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
In the same vein, the recurring cases of lead poisoning, the recent resulting in the death of 28 children in Niger State, has been attributed to the illegal operations and small-scale miners. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Musa Mohammed Sada, and other discussants on NTA Good Morning Nigeria say aggressive enlightenment in rural communities on the hazards of unprofessional exploration would check the problem. Amina Nujem has details.
The first major case of lead poisoning from illegal mining was reported in Zamfara State in 2010, killing 400 persons in 43 villages. The latest is in Niger State, with 65 cases of lead poisoning with 28 deaths. The process of containing the situation is underway with an assessment visit and containment by environmental and medical experts.
Sometime this week, hopefully, we should be at site, to really determine the extent of contamination using, the XRF device, which is, a device that can instantly tell you, the level of lead, contamination.
And we've evacuated about 8 now that are really showing signs and symptoms to Anka, Zamfara State, where, as we know, doctors and brothers are managing cases of lead poisoning. So that has calmed down the situation in Niger State.
We identified the most dangerous step in mining, or the processing, and removed it out of the society. Those are the milling machines. We removed them out of society and banned further milling and processing in town.
We have local radio programs, jingles, that telling them about what is right and what is wrong. Our own understanding is that gap is poverty, and people are trying to eke out a living, so the intervention have to come at a different level if we have to succeed in eliminating this.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development say, with improved funding and current reforms, the recurring incident is being checked. Educating and improving the living conditions of rural dwellers who mostly engage in the hazardous practice remains key in checking further occurrences. In Abuja, Amina Nujain.
This is the news reaching you on NTA International, Abuja, Nigeria. More news after the break.
NTA International News.
Thanks for being there. The Nigerian Army has assured the International Committee of the Red Cross that all casualties in counterinsurgency operations will continue to receive equal treatment. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima, represented by the Chief of Policy and Plans, Major General Ugo Bozugbe, gave the assurance when the President International Committee of the Red Cross, Peter Moria, visited Army headquarters. Defense correspondent Mohammed Abduri has a report.
It is on record that the International Committee of the Red Cross has interfaced with over 100 country armed forces worldwide. And so the committee's visit to the Army headquarters is germane to assessing the level of compliance to international humanitarian laws in and out of the theater of war as contained in the Geneva Convention, to which Nigeria is a signatory.
In all our operations, we have adhered and ensured that we maintain humanitarian laws.
We stand here ready to work with you through some of those difficulties. This needs and makes necessary regular and structured access to detention facilities.
Both parties agreed to work closely to ameliorate the suffering of security personnel affected by counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast. The International Committee of the Red Cross is also scaling up arrangements to support the internally displaced persons in Nigeria. From the Army Headquarters, Abuja, Muhammad Abdel Kadri, NTA News.
Thank you, Mohammed. The need for a continuous reappraisal of the military operational tactics and methods of intelligence gathering in order to rise to the demands of 21st century security challenge. This was brought to the fore at the 2015 conference of the Deputy Defense Attaches and Librarian Training organized by the Defense Intelligence Agency in Abuja. KG Busari Ahmed reports.
Military intelligence is a discipline that exploits a number of information collection and analysis to provide guidance to commanders in support of decisions. This is conducted at all levels, from tactical to strategic in peacetime, transition period to war, and during the war proper. In any form of warfare, intelligence gathering is of utmost importance, as it is the bedrock of military operations. It is in this regard that the Directorate of Military Intelligence is poised to refocus the activities of Nigeria's defense mission to meet contemporary security challenges.
Your contributions during the interactive session will form a vital part of the agency's feedback to government with regards to repositioning our efforts to combating contemporary security challenges.
Adequate security depends on intelligence.
The Chief of Defense Intelligence, Rear Admiral Okoye, also challenged the Deputy Defense Attaché to provide actionable intelligence that will help in decision-making, especially at this period of security challenge confronting the country. In Abuja, KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
Now, available data shows that many children of Nigerian origin in the United Kingdom have little or no knowledge of Nigeria, her people, and culture. And in a bid to change this, Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Dr. Dalhatu Sarki Tafida, hosted 100 youths in London The interactive session was aimed at testing their knowledge about Nigeria. Bilkisu Abdurazak Oduye tells us more.
The interactive event with Nigeria's High Commissioner is aimed at catching them young and teaching them about what the High Commission does and giving them a true sense of belonging with their country of origin. It was all about the youths, and they left no one in doubt of their readiness and ability to hold and raise the bar in quiz sessions and inspirational talks.
It's not about money, it's not about what other people are doing, it's not generally everyone to be a doctor or a lawyer, but whatever you do, you're impacting someone, you're making a good cause, you're leaving a mark. When you go, what do you want people to say about you?
My mother and father never made me forget where I was actually from. From the youngest moments.
Dr. Dalhatu Serikitafida is happy to see Nigerian youths positively engaged and that discussions on some of their misgivings about Nigeria, among others, have been put to rest.
And we thought it good to catch them young, teach them the basic ethics of becoming good Nigerians in UK.
Dr. Toyin Idowu Onibokun is founder and director, Youth Against Crime, Not Crime Against You, Yakin K. She says her passion is to get Nigerian youths on the peace path and out of gangs and crimes.
A high percentage of these young people dying and actually committing a crime are Nigerians. Now, that's not the way to go, obviously, and there are young Nigerians who are doing positive things in the community. I want to encourage those that are doing positive to remain positive.
What is the youth's verdict about this event?
That's the young Nigerians, and it's good to spread the culture around.
Yeah, it was really helpful and encouraging.
I enjoyed it. It was really good.
In London, Bilkisu Abdurazak Oduye, NTA News.
Now from London to Ghana, where the country's celebrities have mobilized their fans in a vigil march to demand a stop to doomsaw, which in the local parlance means darkness. Various stakeholders turned up with all manners of bush lanterns, candles, torchlights, and all manners of gadgets that can generate light. Kodelo Kwoma tells us more.
Ghana used to be a reference point for other African countries where you could have light 24/7 without a blink. But that situation has since changed. Despite government's condemnation of the vigil and the political interpretation to the action, as well as the Ga traditional chief priest's threat that the work must not be held in the no-noise month in Ghana in respect to tradition, the vigil held, led by the chief coordinator and Gollywood top actress Yvonne Nelson, along with Van Vika and other actors, D Black, Sydney, Effia, and some other well-known musicians, were also part of the vigil meant to draw national and international attention to the plight of Ghanaians who have had to contend with only 3 days of light in a week and in some areas only 2 days. Entrepreneurs, tailors, barbers, artisans, and students were part of the vigil.
We are not used to that. We don't think that that should be happening. It's been happening for too long, and we actually think that our government has not done enough to fix that problem.
I'm a tailor, so I sew for customers. Always I have to apologize. If the light is there, I'll be able to deliver on time.
The welders, the hairdressers, and you name it, the babies in the incubator, and also the theater. The 1 kilometer march from Legon University Bridge to Tetekwashe interchange took almost 1 hour, resulting in heavy buildup of traffic on the road leading into Accra. Security officers maintained a safe distance, maintaining law and order, and were quite courteous. At the Tetekwashi Green area, the celebrities addressed their supporters, calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, take action to end doomsaw in Ghana and save jobs, as well as make life worth living. But due to inadequate provision of sound system, virtually no one heard what they had to say. But then, the people were quite happy just being there and being free to vent in so many ways. From Accra, Ghana, Cordelia Okwoma, NTA News.
Many thanks to you, Cordelia. And back home, The Super Falcons prepare for journey to Canada as Max Air are champions of Unity Polo Tournament. Amazi Marcos reports.
Nigeria's national women's football team, the Super Falcons, traveled to Canada on Wednesday ahead of the FIFA Women's World Cup kicking off on June 6. They will play friendlies in Canada to prepare for their Group D matches against Australia, Sweden, and the USA. The friendlies will be against New Zealand and Canada. Over 300 students of Model Secondary School in Maitama, Abuja, attended the second edition of Power Forward basketball program over the weekend. The students were taught techniques of basketball game, life skills seminars, and train-the-trainer sessions.
In Nigeria, we need more basketball. We need more sports outside of football.
Max Air team ended the reign of defending champions Kefi Ponies with a 7-2 defeat in a 5-checker match at the final of this year's Peace and Unity Polo Tournament at the Guards Brigade Polo Club Abuja on Sunday. Argentina's Fernando Bordillo of 6 handicap gave the game the deserved high tempo, having scored 4 of the 7 goals for Max Air, making it difficult for Nigeria's best Bello Buba to save his team Kefi Ponies from defeat.
Nigerian players, they're improving a lot. They have a lot of potential. They need to improve the horses.
You need at least the minimum each player 5 horses. And we are down with horses. About 5 horses of ours have casualties. Even we lost 1, died last night. So you can see our morale.
The Legislative Shield was won by Defcon Polo Club after defeating Aviva 4.5 to 4 goals in a week-long tournament that had 14 teams in contention. With Sports News Update, Amanzi Marcus.
And that's the news at this hour from NTA International, Abuja, Nigeria. Thanks for being there.